Okay. Do you know how to make grilled cheese?
I do know how to make grilled cheese. You put the
Okay.
cheese on the
Just
pan with
need
the
to make
butter
sure,
and
you
you
know.
let it grill. Yeah, I do know, yeah.
So, okay, seriously, the first more personal question. Where did you get the name, The Original Alex?
I got it from a friend actually. Their username was very similar to mine, and at the time they were my best friend.
Hmm.
We just grew really close within like a span of a month. Actually, it's really funny, but we had a lot in common. That was kind of our like running joke. So at some point, I think I was just like tired of my old like username that I would use whenever, and I kind of wanted us to be like matching, you know. So I
Yeah.
changed my username to resemble theirs, and eventually I think they changed their username because whatever, time passes. Sometimes you want to change things up, but for some reason the original Alex just kind of stuck with me,
Hmm.
and I just never changed it. So
Okay. So it wasn't like well, I guess it was a conscious decision, but you never expected it to go this far.
yeah, I think maybe I don't actually know what my original channel name would have been. I think before I got into game design, I was into animation, so I think maybe my channel would have been an animation channel. You can see like traces of it.
Oh
I think I
yeah.
have like
It's like I'm
one
looking
really
at
old
PFP right
animation.
now, and it's like animation right there.
Yeah, so it could have been like something related to animation, but no, I just never really broke into that, I guess.
I guess that
Yeah.
might tie into the next question. What's your favorite hobby or thing to do outside of gaming or Plants vs Zombies? And I think I might know the answer.
Well, the thing about, I guess the easy answer is game design, but that's more related to my career.
Yep.
So I don't know if I really, I enjoy doing it like as a hobby as well. But I
Yeah.
think actually, when it comes to a hobby, the thing I enjoy doing is video creation. Video creation is my hobby. I've expressed before, like in my Q&A video, that as much as I love doing content creation, it's probably not something I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
So
I don't see myself doing it for the
yeah.
rest of my life either. It's kind of just like a phase.
But it is something I enjoy very much.
Yeah.
It's something I've always wanted to do. I just never did it until I did.
Yeah.
So I'm just going along for the ride and seeing what fun stuff I can make while I have the opportunity to.
You're actually studying game design right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to like get into that a little bit?
I mean, I don't know how much I could get into it. I've always, well, I didn't really know how into game design I would be until I eventually just kind of got into it.
Oh, so you got into game design through like choosing to go down that path academically?
Yeah. What happened was
Interesting.
that sorry, I'm kind of keeping the details kind of brief because
No, that's fine. That's fine.
but I will say that around the time of the big sick, I don't know what you want to call it.
The cough,
Yeah.
Yep. We know what you're talking about.
I got into modding a game that was very popular around the time. I'll leave that up to interpretation, but I got into modding it and it was a lot of fun. I was doing it by myself for a couple months, and I was doing all the art assets. I was doing some sound design stuff. I was doing that kind of thing. I was doing like level design stuff related to it. And at some point, I started breaking into the code a little bit. Didn't really do very much, but I was just kind of like understanding, what everything was, how everything kind of came together. And I was like, this is really interesting. I should experiment with this. And then I started to, I did start to study it a little bit. I'm not, at the end of that journey yet.
Yeah.
But I will say that game design is something I'm very passionate in. Level design is specifically my favorite aspect.
I was gonna ask
design.
you, what's your favorite part of the process? So level design.
Level design is, I think, where my passion lies when it comes to. I don't know. I just like thinking in the mind of a player. I like designing things that have a meaning to me, and I like thinking about all the decisions in a very calculated way. I like thinking about like when I'm designing something, I like thinking, okay, this is the purpose, this is the meaning it has, this is the purpose it serves, this aspect does this aspect does this. obviously I try to think in the mind of a player and be like, okay, if I was the player playing this, what would I make of this? How would I go about it? So on and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, level design is definitely my favorite aspect of it.
This might be a bit of a stretch, but that kind of thing might require a lot of like emotional intelligence, like a lot of empathy, like being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like some people have a hard time doing that.
Yes, they do. I will say that sounds kind of like pretentious.
No, it's fine.
I don't like to like toot my own horn, but I will say that emotional intelligence is something I kind of pride myself in.
Yeah.
Because I have had previous experiences, game design related actually, of working with other novices such as myself in game development, and I found that the hardest thing to work with in a team is when someone lacks emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from my experiences of working with that's something that, first of all, I need to get down for sure. Because it's really rough, I'll say that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe especially in the kind of gaming realm or like tech realm, there's probably a bit more like IQ instead of EQ. Like there's probably a bit more logical thinking than emotional kind of ability, I guess.
That's fair.
Although it is still a creative pursuit though. It's not like you're doing like rocket science or something. It's still a creative outlet, so I guess I could be wrong.
I think the biggest thing is that unless you're doing like something completely by yourself, game development is very team oriented. It's a big group of people working on everything that goes into one big thing. So like you're going to be working with a lot of people, you're going to be collaborating with them.
Does that mean a lot of group projects at uni or college or whatever?
Yeah, I've worked with people on game stuff related to that, and
good or bad experiences?
Different experiences.
Okay.
Some good, some bad. But it's definitely why I value emotional intelligence really highly, because it's a matter of teamwork. You're going to be working with the team, and if you're going to be working with the team, you have to be able to manage like so many things about it. You'll receive a lot of criticism, you'll receive a lot of feedback, you'll be pushed when it comes to stress or deadlines. You need to be able to handle how you perceive everything, how you take everything, and how you handle your emotions in more sensitive states. It definitely sucks to hear things you don't want to hear sometimes, but for the sake of growing as a developer and working with people as people, it's so important to like have a grasp on your emotional. I think
that is such an important ability or skill to like take criticism and without getting offended by it, actually putting it to use and thinking more like, how can I use this criticism to grow what I'm doing, instead of like taking it to heart, or just like, if you're a bit like narcissistic or whatever, some people might just brush it off and say like, I'm right, they're wrong. But it's like, that's such an important skill to not do that.
Yeah, I even try to practice it outside of game development related stuff. Like on my channel, I always encourage feedback. I've had a lot of comments bring up things they don't like, for example, and I always like try to ask like, what don't you like about it? Sometimes I've gotten some feedback and I'd be like, okay, I can see that. Sometimes I've had feedback where people have brought something up and I'm like, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I personally see things a little different, but again, I can see where you're coming from and I can understand that. I've had people say things that were kind of like unnecessary, and I'm like, okay. I think the biggest example I can think of is people that have I've had one example of someone accusing me of copying another person's video, and I was like, what like, did you watch the video? Like, what
Which
about
video
it
was that?
It was my PVZ plush video, the first one. I'm not going to name names, but there was a person who commented that I stole the idea from someone else because another very popular YouTuber did a video on PVZ merch.
Yep.
And it released a little bit before mine. At the time, I had seen it. Well, I hadn't seen the video, but like I got it recommended to me, and I was like, okay. Usually what happens if I see that while I'm working on a video, someone else has a similar video, I usually am always interested because like, hey, I'm doing that too. But I always watch it after I release my video, just so I'm not like biased or like I guess accidentally steal is the best way to put it, but it's like I see something in my head and I put it down and I'm like, oh, this is funny, and then like later on I'm like, wait, that was, I think I might have like confused like my own thoughts for someone else's like thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
if you're watching that random commenter on Alex's video, you're wrong. All right.
I don't know. I actually don't remember. It's been so long. I forgot how that conversation ended. I didn't want to do like I've never like had like an argument with someone like in my comments online, but they were just like accusing me of things I just didn't do.
Yep.
Like in terms of like copying and like reusing stuff, and I was like, did you watch the video? You know?
How do you go about reading your comments? Do you read them all? Do you just like skim read?
Usually I do try to read all my comments or at least look at all of them.
I think that's that's so great. Brando said the same thing, and it's like that must take so much time as well, and it's like that's a lot of dedication. I like it.
It is. I will say that much. I had recently over the last couple of months I've been a lot busier than usual. So I was kind of distant from my channel a little bit. But I remember like around the time of Thanksgiving I had like put a community post up and be like, you know, as a thank you for sticking with me through everything, I'm gonna try to catch up on all my comments. And I actually finally did, I think last week.
Really?
I caught up with all the comments I missed over
How long did that take?
the last it was a couple days, I think.
Wow.
Well, like it wasn't like me like reading them 24/7.
Yeah, you didn't like wake up,
read a
scrolling
little
your
bit.
phone, reading the comments, and go to sleep.
Yeah,
Scroll.
'cause
Yeah.
if people comment something really meaningful, I want to respond to it or like it and like kind of grasp it. So it was a couple days of me looking at it for a little while, doing whatever I have to do, and then like another day doing the same thing. But I try to encourage that like if you comment something, there's a chance I will see it. Sometimes I don't comment on it. Sometimes people comment kind of weird things. Not very often, but like I don't respond to everything or I don't like everything. But I do try to make sure that I see everything because you know it's always important to do that. And while I'm kind of a smaller channel, it's good that I have the opportunity to do that because like I couldn't imagine being like PewDiePie and reading all of his comments every single day.
That wouldn't even
you know
be
what I mean?
humanly possible, I don't think.
Exactly.
Going
So,
back to
I
the
have
game
the opportunity
development
now.
stuff, what do you think would be your preferred type of game to make when you do become a game developer?
Well, I don't know if see the thing about it is that I've been super mindful about talking about game development stuff because I don't want to like promise anything that doesn't stay.
Well, just hypothetically.
I will say I am. Yeah, I don't really know actually because I have a couple projects of my own that have genres. I just don't want to bring it up because like I kind of keep them to myself for right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'd probably try to. I think my first instant thought is to make a game that's similar to games that I enjoy. I think the two types of games I enjoy very much are strategy games and platformer games.
Okay.
Those are
What kind of
those are two very
platformers do you
common
like?
games. I like just like your standard 2D platformer.
Well, like Mario and stuff.
I do enjoy. I actually like played like a Mario game for the first time like a couple months ago.
What?
Actually, it was
Wait, your first time
yeah, it
playing
was-
a Mario game?
yeah.
Wow, which one was it?
Well, actually, okay, wait, hold on. Maybe not the first time. It was like because the one I played before that was like classic Mario Bros.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
think
that's
of a
still
lot
good.
of platformer games I enjoy are like I enjoy playing a lot of the Sonic platformer games. I enjoyed
The
a
2D
lot
ones?
of the Rayman games, a couple Mario games. Yeah.
So you're not big on like the
it's more
3D
like-
platformers?
Honestly, I haven't really been able to play a lot of them because I feel like 3D platformers aren't really
They
made
feel a
very
bit
much
clunky
anymore.
to me. It's like
That's
I feel like
fair.
platforming was built for 2D. It
I
just
think
gets a bit
some
complicated
games-
with all the controls and everything, yeah?
Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time actually is Rayman 2, which is a 3D platformer. I think that game feels good. It's a very timeless game in my opinion.
That was for PS2, was it?
It was I think it was actually PS1.
Okay.
It was I think it was made in 1999. But it's one of the few 3D platformer games I have played, and I love that game. It's one of my favorites. I also enjoy Metroidvanias very much. Games like Hollow Knight are amazing. I'm actually gonna play Nine Souls for the first time.
Ninth Souls,
Oh,
okay.
Pizza Tower is also another really fun 2D platformer.
These are all games that I've heard such a praise for, like Hollow Knight and Pizza Tower and stuff. I've just never played any of them.
I mean, I'd say the genre isn't for everyone, but if you're willing to give them a try, they're
I do
they're
like
a lot of
platformers,
fun.
but I just don't expand that far beyond the games I already play, I guess. Like, I don't really try new games that often.
I get you. 100%, I get you. No
Yeah,
worries.
especially when life's so busy. It's like, when I was a kid, I could do that a lot more, but now it's like, I have uni, I
Yeah.
have YouTube, I have all these other commitments and everything.
Yeah, no, I would 100% get what you mean. It's been really difficult to try to break into new games. I want to, but it's just like sometimes I'll be sitting down and playing a game, and like depending on my experience, I'm like, man, I could be doing career stuff right now, or I can be, working on video stuff right now. It's kind of hard to.
It's not a very healthy mindset. I find myself falling into that trap a lot. It's like when I'm out doing something fun when I'm out with my friends or whatever. It's like sometimes, not often, but sometimes I'll think like, okay, I'm missing out on X hours of working on a video or working on uni.
I'm the exact same
and it's like
way.
it's not a good way to look at things, because that's probably one of the fastest ways to burn yourself out, never giving yourself a break mentally.
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to work on, especially recently. And I think it's a slow process, but I get what you mean. Like 100%, I feel very strongly I feel very strongly towards that. Is the best way to put it.
And I think doing YouTube as a career or part-time, it's like just YouTube as an endeavor, it promotes that mindset, because it's not like any other job where you have set shifts. It's like,
yeah,
you could always be making the next video and you don't get holidays or anything. It's like every time you take a break, you have to sacrifice views, growth, money, everything. It's like, it's not like other jobs where it's like you turn up so and so hours, go home, turn it off in your head. It's like it's always on.
Yeah, as a job, it's very difficult to manage, because it's like being self-employed. You're the person that is responsible for your own schedule. You're responsible for how much work you're getting done and so on. And with things like traditional jobs, obviously you get put a limit on that. You can only work a certain amount of time, or you're given a schedule.
Yep.
So it really is up to the person. Like, I've had days where, like, obviously I've worked on content, but like I've also had days where I've just not been able to, and that's also been okay, because it's not like a full commitment, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's a lot of freedom
too, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom, but with freedom comes the ability to kind of limit that, or increase
to
that,
dwell on it a lot.
Who you are.
Although obviously I wouldn't trade doing YouTube for any other job. Like, you wouldn't either, right? It's like we can whinge about YouTube and everything, but it's like I'm not taking it for granted. It's amazing, really.
Yeah, I think right now in the position I'm in, because I'm trying to focus on career stuff as well.
Yep.
But I think while I have the opportunity to work on stuff, I'm very happy to be doing this, because it's something I enjoy doing. Sometimes it's hard to remember that for the most part it's closer to a hobby than like a full career thing.
And if you think about it fully like a job, that's another way to burn yourself out quickly. It's like,
oh yeah,
you got to
100%.
still enjoy it. You like, if you don't have passion for YouTube, you're just not gonna reach the same level of output or have the drive and everything.
Yeah, it's a field that thrives on passion, I think, which is the cool thing about it, but it's also very restricted to that specific type of, I guess, person, you know what I mean?
Yeah. About the game industry, coming from a background of game development, what are your thoughts on the current state of the game industry?
I might not be the best person to ask, because I'm kind of there's a couple things I've heard, just like layoffs have been really, really bad. The industry is being there's a couple challenges. A lot of people are getting fired. AI is a very big development, and it's a possible threat to game development, especially in the realm of artists specifically. That can apply to a lot of, just outside of game development in general.
I don't know
really
how
too
AI is
sure.
going to turn out, really. It's something that's probably better to not think about.
I'll say this now while I can. I enjoyed when AI was a novelty, when it was something you could just mess around with
Yeah.
for fun. I remember people would make like AI song covers, and I was
Yeah,
like,
and AI
this
presidents
is
and
the
stuff.
funniest thing I've seen.
Mm.
Yeah, but now it's a thing that businesses can use to make money, and then it's
Yep.
just they've soiled it, you know.
Well, maybe not so
Um,
much about the industry, but how do you feel about what the game industry is making? Like, how do you feel about the current state of today's games compared to a decade ago, 2 decades ago?
well, I'd say a decade ago I wasn't really too well. I didn't really know what I wanted to do going forward, so I wasn't really like I guess paying attention too much. I will say I did watch the Game Awards recently, so I was able to see like a lot of the upcoming games that are going to be released, and a lot of it I wasn't really vibing with because a lot of it was just not really my type
Yeah.
of like game. But I find that as games are kind of similar to movies in terms of how they're advancing, especially in the realm of like graphically, because I feel like a lot of games are trying to push like the realism aspect, and I think that's really cool. But just like in movies trying to push realism when it comes to CGI, it's something that'll just kind of eventually get dated because it's always constantly improving, it's always advancing.
Mm.
So I much prefer. I think when it comes to like like AAA games versus like indie games, I'll definitely have a preference for indie games just because I don't know. I feel like indie games, from what I've seen, have been a lot more timeless.
Mm.
There's also
They
a
feel
bigger,
more organic
it's a-
as well, and more love put into
yeah,
them.
that's fair. Yeah, I think obviously game development in general is also, as much as it is like a passion, it's also a business.
Yep.
So even like indie games can feel like they're trying to chase money.
Mm.
But the important thing is that I don't know. I feel like the quality of indie games that I have played just overall have been really high, and there's so much more freedom in that regard.
Mm.
And I don't know. I think a lot of my favorite games like are very timeless.
Yeah,
in
I
that
think
regard,
I remember
both
watching
indie
your
and like
Q&A video. I think you said that Minecraft is your favorite game, if not one of, and that's an indie
yeah,
game.
yeah. It's crazy to remember that actually.
Well,
where,
I did
just
my
how
research
games
for
can
this
start.
interview. Like, I didn't just come in like not knowing
Ah,
anything.
I'm
As I
glad to
said,
know
I'm a
you're
very
my number one
experienced
fan.
podcaster.
Fair enough.
After
Yeah, I think
what, 4
Minecraft is
episodes?
definitely a top game of mine.
Mm.
But yeah, it's I think the industry is obviously, every industry is going to have its ups and downs. From what I've heard, it's been a little rocky recently. But like every industry, hopefully it'll have the opportunity to go back up again.
Mm.
I definitely want to break into indie development specifically.
Yep.
So that'll come with its own challenges. But
You definitely have more of a
I'm
say
hoping
or
that-
more control over what you're making if you're working on an indie project, right? As compared to like a
That's
AAA
true.
game where you're just like you're another replaceable like employee and everything.
The only issue is that indie development comes with a lot of liability because
Yep, and
you're
yeah,
not-
it's definitely more volatile, right? And there's a lot more instability.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's also, when it comes to the concept of like freedom, it's very liberating. You get to do
Yeah.
a lot. You have a lot of control.
More
Comes with a
risk,
lot
more
of-
reward.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay, so we didn't touch on this. What do you think is the best period for video games?
ooh, the best.
Just
period for
looking
video games.
retrospectively, like 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s,
Okay.
2020s, although we're only like halfway through.
I think. Well, the thing about me is that I wasn't really around for like the start of games. I know a little bit
Yeah.
about game history. Obviously, it's just part of the field.
Well, from what you know,
I w-
what judgment would you make?
Well, a lot of games that I like are closer to the 2000s and the 2010s, I'd
Yep.
say. I will say I was a really big fan of when the mobile gaming industry was booming. It's kind of a shame, I guess, how much mobile gaming has fallen off. I remember at the time it was like this big thing, and people were like, "Oh, like mobile gaming is the future."
Yep.
Like I can still think of like how they were trying to pump out like gaming phones and everything. And it kind of sucks that that's kind of fallen off with games, like really popular mobile games. You know, Cut the Rope, Subway Surfers, Angry Birds.
Yeah,
When
you just
PvZ was
don't
on
see that
mobile, it
level
was
of
very
creativity,
big.
really. It's all
Bounce
like
on,
those
there's-
weird kind of like, I don't know. Modern mobile games
Yeah.
are weird.
I wouldn't say it's like, you know, like a crazy important time in like the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's important, but it's not like, you know, people would have different answers.
Yeah.
But
It
I
was
will
an
say that
interesting
as a
time.
game developer, I really wished I was around in that period because it was like, you know, the prospect of like a brand new industry opening up.
Well, you would have
seems
been around,
cool.
right? But just not old enough to fully appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm excited to see like where the industry goes in terms of like what people will break into next. But I will say it was very exciting kind of being a player during that time because there were a bunch of games being made that had a lot of passion and love put into them. Now mobile gaming is kind of in between. There's a lot of really good mobile games, but there's a huge variety of just like, I don't know how to put it, slop, I guess is the best way to put it. It's just like,
Yeah, I'd say slop.
yeah. So it's disappointing to see now, but like at the time when I was like actually playing games, it was like, whoa, this is crazy. But yeah.
Okay, so I think moving on from gaming, you made your channel in 2018 and you started out making kind of like little edits and stuff. So what inspired you to start your channel and make that Mordecai video and everything? What's the whole like original Alex origin story there?
Okay, so that video is so crazy to me. So I made that like just on a random day. I forgot what was happening. I remember I was at a relative's house and we were just like, you know, just doing whatever the hell you would do. And I just remember like we were listening to like Minecraft song parodies and we found one of Juice WRLD's Lucid Dreams, and it was so ridiculous. And I think I had seen like memes with that exact format where it's like the sad scene building up to like the goofy song. So I think I literally edited that, and this is before I even like really got into video editing. I edited that in like 10 minutes, I think.
Oh wow.
And I might have posted it somewhere online, but I also posted it in my channel because I was like, I don't have anything on here, I might as well.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny, that video blew up.
It did?
Obviously, yeah.
Damn.
That was my first video on my channel ever, and it got like 30,000 views was like the peak at the time.
That's crazy.
And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So afterwards, I started to try to get into making like random, you know, goofy meme content.
Yep.
And it was pretty bad, honestly. But it was just, you know, it's just par for the course.
I guess this is a lesson for everyone out there, aspiring YouTubers out there. No matter how goofy or random the video is, just put it out there. You never know. It could be the beginning of a tens of thousands of subscribers YouTube channel. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, you're at like 65k right now, so.
Yeah, I just hit it recently, actually.
Congrats.
But thank you. My PvZ video was, I think, the 4th real video on my channel at the time, and that video just blew up randomly. I don't know how.
You've had a good string of success. I mean, early on.
Yeah, especially when it comes to PvZ content. I'm definitely I'm definitely glad that people are a fan of my PvZ content. That makes me happy.
Do you think if you never made your Plants vs Zombies 2 challenge, do you think you would still be uploading those kind of edits and stuff? Or if you never like made like full videos?
Well, here's the thing. Around the time that I was making those like goofy edit videos, like the memes, I think I was also into animation. I think there's one animation up on my channel.
Okay.
I don't remember.
What software?
I think it might still be. It's like the. I think I made it in Flip-a-Clip. It was just like a basic animation or whatever. But at the time, I wanted to get into animation, so I probably would have posted animations on my channel, like little goofy ones. But I remember at some point I tried to challenge myself by making a video, like an actual video. It was a game review of Rayman 1. It was a project. And the goal was to play through the game if you don't know, Rayman 1 is widely considered to be a very difficult game.
Okay.
So it was a game I've always wanted to play, but I never finished because it was so hard. So I played through it. I recorded my playthrough. I took notes and everything like that. And the goal was to make it a video. At the end of the project, I only made it as far as the video script, unfortunately.
Okay.
So now I have some footage from it, but I think a lot of it has been lost, unfortunately. And I also I have the video script still, but I lost all my like notes. I was keeping track of how many lives I took as well in my video, and I lost that, and that was a big blow to the overall video. I've tried like coming back to that video and like trying to see if I can do something with it, but there's just so many missing pieces now that it's just like, I don't know. But the point is that at some point I realized I wanted to make like video game related content.
Yeah.
So I think I would have stopped making like goofy edits for the most part, but you know, that Rayman video never came out because I just never got past the video. I never got to the video editing phase.
Yeah.
I got to the audio recording phase, and I might still have clips from that actually.
What made you
It's been
just drop
so
it?
long. I think at the time I was just not like I never got past the audio recording phase. I think the hardest thing about that video was that it was so long. Like that video, if I had released it at the time, it probably would have been like an hour long, and that's not a good video to start off with, like when you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually, like a couple years later, though, I had the idea to make the Cookie Run viability tier list, which was like the first real video on my channel. And at the time, I was just like, okay, I want to make this video. Last time I tried making a video, it just didn't work. I didn't get past the script. So even if it kills me, I will finish this video. So I took notes or whatever. Actually, I think I just like recorded it without any script. That's like my only like without a script video, I think.
Interesting.
And yeah, looking back, it's a little bit of a mess.
Just impromptu.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Cookie Run, I guess. But yeah, so I downloaded an editing software. I made a couple stills. Actually, it's funny. The background in that video looks really weird because it's actually an unfinished background from when I wanted to get into video editing earlier.
Okay.
So yeah. So, and then like in the second part of that series, I like updated the background to be, you know, a background I would use for a little while until I updated it again.
Yep.
But yeah, so I pushed myself to finish that video. I finished it, and I was kind of getting to the swing of things. I think around the time that I finished that video, I passed 100 and then 200 subscribers, which was crazy to me. And then I was like, well, I had my PVZ2 challenge. I had actually done that. I think I did it in 2020, and I don't remember if I finished it. I have notes from it. I have to check. But I did play through the game, and I stopped working on it. So I was like, I want to pick this project back up and actually do it. So I did everything again from scratch, and then I edited it all together. I forgot how long it took, but I put it all together. I uploaded it, and literally the day later, I looked at my phone and it had like 5,000 views, and I was like, oh my god, I have 1,000 subscribers.
That's just, that feeling is unmatched. So when you first see like your content
it was crazy.
blowing up, yeah.
I think here, I have my phone next to me right here.
Okay.
I have a big gallery full of.
Oh yeah, could you just send it to me and I'll just pop it up on the screen for everyone watching?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do
cool.
that. But I have a couple of screenshots of when my channel still had. I have a screenshot when I had 246 subscribers.
Nice.
And then it wasn't 1,000 subscribers, but I jumped from. I have a picture on December 18, 2022. I had 328 subscribers, and then on December 20th, 2022, within the first day and 20 hours of posting my part 1 challenge, I had 5,000 views on it, and I had 705 subscribers, and it just kept going up the day later.
Can you believe that it's been 2 years and 1 day since then?
It has?
Yeah. You said 20th of December, right? It's the 21st of December, 2024 right now.
Oh, wow. Well, we've officially dated the video. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, it's been 2 years.
So you were
wild.
talking about your video about Cookie Run, which was your first kind of video. I was gonna ask
It
you
was my first
next.
video.
As I said before, I did watch your Q&A, and you kind of talked about a little bit of tension about giving yourself the title of Plants vs Zombies YouTuber. And I just wanted to know
Yes.
how you deal with juggling all the different games you do, like Plants vs Zombies, My Singing Monsters, Cookie Run. Like, how do you kind of balance all those different kind of niches that you're in on your channel?
I will say that well, the first thing I did, the first video I made that was unrelated to Cookie Run or PvZ was for a niche Instagram webcomic called Polygoons. And around that time, I decided that like I like doing PvZ content, but I want to make content on anything else. I had so many ideas for like making videos on like Parappa, Minecraft, and all that. So I was like, okay, if I want to make videos on other stuff, I have to do it early, because if I keep doing PvZ and I switch, I've seen this with so many content creators, they just fall off immediately.
Yeah. The
There was
algorithm
actually
really punishes stuff like that.
yeah, there's a YouTuber I know who did Cookie Run content exclusively for a long time, and at some point they were like, I'm gonna take a break, and I was subscribed to them for the longest time. But like I remember one day I just opened my phone because I saw them at my subscriptions, and I think they had like 2 views on the video, and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't let that happen to me. So I kind of bit the bullet early, but it also turned out really well because people were like surprised by it. It's not a very popular video on my channel, but that's fine. The point is, I wanted to get it out the door. Like, I'm gonna do other content other than PvZ. If you want to stick around for it, you can. If not, that's okay too.
Yep.
I'll do videos on PvZ because I love PvZ. It's fun. I love talking about it. I love making content on it.
I think you
But I
did
also like
pull it
making
off.
content on other things.
Yeah, I think you pulled it off really successfully because your videos on other games than Plants vs Zombies, like Plants vs Zombies, probably gets the most views, right?
It definitely
But
does, yeah.
the other games you do also get a lot of views, and even just looking at
I'm
your live
surprised by
chat
that
and stuff,
still.
there's a lot of like My Singing Monsters fans in your live, and you know, it's not all just Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that I found like a good balance. Even now to this day, I still try to balance it because that's something I have tension towards, is being known as a PvZ tuber.
Yeah.
Because I love doing PvZ. It was why I initially was skeptical about having a channel on the Floral Federation, because I was like,
Interesting.
I love doing PvZ content, but I don't want to be like, is it wrong for me to have a channel here if I don't want to be like a PvZ tuber? Like,
Yeah.
and it was fine.
understand
Everything
that.
was okay. So I took the opportunity.
Mm.
But like, yeah, it's just because like I want people to remember that like I want to do content on anything, you know.
Out of all those
Like,
game
variety is
series,
my thing.
out of all those game series that you do on your channel, which franchise do you like the most? Or do you enjoy playing the most?
Well, the PvZ videos are, I think, one of the few things on my channel that I've actually that I actually play and record, because I don't really have like the craziest setup when it comes to recording things. I would love to do more videos where I'm playing more things. It's just kind of difficult to reach that point. I think PvZ is a top favorite, but if I were to choose a second favorite, probably, honestly, this might be crazy, but I think Rhythm Heaven is a top
Rhythm
favorite
Heaven, okay.
of mine. It's funny, My Singing Monsters is a game I used to play a lot. I don't play it as much, but I still keep up with everything like consistently because I just enjoy it as a game.
Yeah.
So that one's also up there, but again, like I don't play it very much anymore. So a lot of things I talk about on my channel are games I haven't played in a while, but like I still enjoy them and I keep up with them and I love them, and I try to like express my appreciation for them because they mean a lot to me. So yeah.
Overall, all things considered, do you consider yourself a Plants vs Zombies YouTuber?
I don't think
That
I
might be
can
a hard question,
because
You don't?
yeah, I don't think I can because I don't just do PvZ.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a huge emphasis on it on my channel.
Yep.
But I don't think I can call myself a PvZ tuber if I don't exclusively do PvZ. People have referred to me as a PvZ and MSM YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, you can be
which
both
has been
at the
interesting
same
actually.
time.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. And I do like doing PvZ content. I think it's just kind of hard for me to like make that my sole identity, because I know that when obviously I'll continue to PvZ content for as long as I have ideas for it. And I like being, I guess, known as a person that does cool things related to PvZ. Like at the time of my PvZ challenge, no one had done like that concept before. For like my redesigning video, I don't really know if there was any videos redesigning plants in PvZ. It's like I like being known as someone that's kind of breaking into things in the realm of PvZ content. But I wouldn't really consider myself like a PvZ tuber, unfortunately.
So I'm gonna have to go back and edit the intro where I introduce you as another Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah, I was gonna say something. I just couldn't think of anything funny because I didn't want to like come out dry and be like, I'm not a PvZ tuber.
Yeah,
so I'd just be really awkward.
No, yeah,
it's fine though.
Okay, we'll do something about it. I want to get more into the kind of like one of the things you're obviously known for that is in every one of your videos is your little character and your drawings and your animation. When and how did you learn to draw and animate?
I started off, so I've always liked drawing. I just never really like got into it. It was around the time, I mean, I was younger, but at some point I decided to like try drawing because I noticed that my friends around me were drawing, and I was so impressed by it, and I was like, man, I want to draw just like them. And I remember at the time, a big reason why I got into drawing, as silly as it sounds, is because like I wanted to be as good as them. Like I wanted to be able to draw alongside them and like for them to consider me as good as they were.
That's why I started YouTube actually.
Yeah,
because my friends
really?
had channels, and I was like, I want a channel.
Oh, that's cool.
That was what 10 years ago now. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit old. You know, I'm a bit ancient now, but you were saying about the drawing and everything.
Yeah, so I wanted to draw just like them, so I started picking it up, and over time, I think I was getting better at it. My little character has gone through a lot of an evolution.
Yeah.
Mainly in the hair and like the body type. If anyone was subscribed to me before my certain amount, I had a different profile picture and everything. I had a different style for my character. So yeah, I just kind of evolved over time. But it's kind of interesting because now I'm in a position where I like to do art for my channel, but outside of my channel, I don't really do art too often anymore. Like when I was really into drawing, I would do like full drawings. Obviously I was into animation as well, so I would do short animations. Now I don't really do that anymore unless it's related to my channel or it's related to game development. But even then, like in game development, I don't want to be like the lead artist of anything. I want to be able to like maybe do concept art and like kind of demonstrate like ideas in my head through art because I can just do it. But like I don't want to do art, you know what I mean? Like related to that field.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess I've always been into drawing and I've kind of improved. I think once I found a design for my channel, like I just kind of focused on like only art related to my channel, I guess. So there are still improvements. I do got to make a couple improvements. Specifically in my background, I've gotten so many comments that the perspective is off, and
where it's like the room and everything.
The perspective is so bad in it, honestly, and I finally understood perspective a little better. So I want to redo it sometime soon. But,
I remember doing.
I
remember doing when I was in like 9th grade and 10th grade. I don't know how that would like transfer to American years or whatever, but I remember I was doing art, and it was in the middle of COVID, and doing art from home online was not very fun. Like we would just get sent random YouTube videos and be like, draw this, like just pencil and paper. Like we didn't get to paint or sculpt or do any of the other stuff that you would do at school outside of COVID. Yeah.
It's funny, I actually had an animation class during that time, and that was one of the few classes that actually
I could see how that would actually work. Yep.
that was definitely my peak of being an animator. I didn't do anything too crazy in my opinion, but like it was when I was really into it, and then obviously I transitioned to game development So like art wise, I feel like I've kind of grown comfortable with improving in the scope of my channel.
Yep.
But like outside of that, I've uh, kind of shifted the scales. So a lot of it is leaned more towards learning game development more so than art.
Yep.
But I think I'm comfortable enough, and I think everyone is pretty happy with my art style. I actually, this is kind of funny, but I got a comment recently where I think I forgot, someone brought up something related to my art, or like maybe they brought up like the perspective of my room or something like that. But I remember someone replied to them saying something like, oh, he's probably not an artist, but it looks fine enough as is, or whatever.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I am an artist, so
Yeah.
like I don't know if that's like a compliment, because it's like, oh, if he's bad at it, but like it's pretty good if he's bad at it, or if it's like an insult. I don't really know. It was just kind of funny because I was like, damn.
Well, on the topic of you being an artist, do you have any art tips for people who suck, such as myself? Do you have any tips to like draw better, animate better? Or what would be your biggest tip? Just one.
I think, well, the thing about art is that if you learn the basics immediately, that'll carry you through anything. Like if you know the basics of like, the biggest thing is like anatomy. If you know the basics of drawing something in terms of like how it's, I don't have like the artistic terms to describe it, but basically like anatomy is a big thing. If you're drawing like environments, if you know how to like draw different types of things from the ground up, basically if you get the what's the word, like the I don't know how to put it. So you get the basics like, out of the way.
Yeah, so like don't bite off more than you can chew. Start simple and learn the basics and really master them before you start to get ambitious with it. Okay.
Yeah, like I started with drawing in my own art style, but because of that, I struggled a lot when it came to doing different like dynamic poses and stuff like that, because I just didn't understand the anatomy and how it worked. Whereas other artists I know around me, they use the knowledge they have of how things look, how things move, etc., to like understand the basics, and then they could work that into creating their own stylized art. So like if I had known like the basics of anatomy, I could probably do some really cool stuff with my character. But because I don't really have as much knowledge in that, compared to just sticking with the logics of my own stylistic art style, it's kind of hard to, I guess, experiment with it further. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I remember
it's like
when I was in
drawing...
art class, I would do like, when we had to do the really like realistic, like, not impressionist, like, you know, like the realistic
like
stuff.
Figure drawing?
Yeah, just stuff that wasn't meant. I would just say like my art was abstract, which was my excuse for saying my art is shit, because it looks nothing like what it's meant to.
Yeah, like if you start off by drawing in a really stylized way, you can nail that style down.
Yep.
But it's, if you don't have the fundamentals out of the way, that's the word I was looking for, the fundamentals. You'll definitely struggle with kind of branching out of that, which is a trap I've kind of fallen in. And you know, now that I've fallen in it, I can go back and learn the anatomy stuff. It's just, you know, I kind of skipped all that, so I can pursue drawing in a way I want to. And I guess it looks good for the way I want it to look, but I know it could be further if I had focused on the fundamentals first.
So going back to the YouTube stuff a little bit, what videos are you the most and the least proud of that you've made?
Ooh, okay. The most proud of, I think the video I'm the most proud of is probably my polygons video, because well, it's a very niche topic, but I think that video specifically really struck a chord with the audience that it was made for. I got a lot of comments like over time, even still to this day, of people that were in this community for this thing that's now partially lost media, that were in it, and they were recounting their stories, their experiences. Some of them have even been like, oh, I made this character and I did this. And it was kind of cool to like kind of foster the community within my comment section of people that kind of had nowhere to go and have found a place to kind of look at and be like, oh, okay, this person knows this too. And a lot of people in the comment section also know this. Like, kind of gives a like a almost like a refuge for this really niche topic.
Mm.
And even though that video, first of all, the video is not monetized because I use a song that was copyrighted, but like I've kind of grown like, first of all, monetization isn't everything, but I've kind of grown like fine with that because it's like this video is more of a passion thing than like.
It's really interesting.
I mean, obviously, all my videos have passion, but it's more like this is a special case, I guess.
Yeah, because I've asked everyone that kind of question so far. I think I've been asking what everyone's favorite video has been, and the answer I always get is a pretty niche video. It's not their biggest video. Like, that's definitely not your biggest video. And it's like, it's not always, or it's rarely about how big the video got or how much money it made or anything. It's usually a creator's favorite video is the one they put the most of themselves into, or the one they put the most passion into. And I think it's very wholesome, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say a close second for a similar reason is my Minecraft Monster School video, because it also came from like something I grew up with and I cared a lot. And I remember, I don't know how often it is, but I believe that my Monster School video is one of the few that the original creator of the series, who's not really active on YouTube anymore, actually commented on. And he had a lot of comments to say. Yeah, it was the first time that anyone, I think, had like really gotten more from them in terms of like decisions on certain things. But I remember they said that like my video kind of felt different. It wasn't like talking about the trend and the consequences this series had on the future. It was more so like almost like a love letter, going back to the series, revisiting it, pointing out what I like, what I don't like, understanding what I understood, what I didn't understand, and so on. And I'm so glad that my video, I wasn't expecting it to reach them, because I was under the impression they just weren't really active on YouTube anymore. But I'm so glad that it did, and I'm glad that it left like a positive impression, that as much as people talk about this trend as something that's bad, like there are people that cared about the original source material a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the current state of those kind of videos is that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but
it definitely
so you got Luigi fan commenting, and then you got him commenting. It's like, wow, you got a fair few celebrities, internet celebrities commenting on your videos.
Yeah, you've commented on one of my videos too, so
we're internet celebrities now. God, that feels so weird
I
to
wouldn't
say.
say that. I'm like I'm just.
Do you like the term influencer, or is that like?
I think I resonate with something that a person by the name of Terror on YouTube said. They made a video about face reveals, and I believe the words they said was like they don't really like the term influencer because it kind of
has negative connotations.
They said that like once you as a person, I guess I think they were like once you make yourself public, once you remove the line between you as a person and you as a creator, that's when you become an influencer. And I really like that idea because I try my best to separate myself as a creator and also as my own person. It's why like I've gotten a lot of comments, people have been like expressing like oh, can we be friends or something like that, and I always have to like shut them down because it's like I appreciate that you enjoy my content, but I also don't want to build any parasocial relationships with people. I don't want to like treat people differently or some people not the same, you know what I mean? Like I don't
I do that as well. I keep my online like YouTube personality very separate to my real life, which is why face revealing was it felt pretty uncomfortable for me. But even though it's just my face, like it's not like I'm doing IRL streams and stuff and like showing off my life and all that.
That's
I still
true,
keep it pretty personal. The next thing I was going to ask you is something that we already talked about a little bit, but I don't know, maybe you might have something extra to put on top of it. When your Plants vs. Zombies 2 challenge video blew up at first, part 1 of your Plants vs. Zombies 1 Plants challenge, and you were watching it blow up and watching your views go up, sub count just absolutely go crazy for the first time, well, apart from the Mordecai video. How did that feel? Which is something you already touched on a little bit, but maybe you could go a little bit deeper into the whole like what thoughts were going through your head and everything.
I was just so like, well, my first thought was like, when is this gonna stop? Like, when's the point where like everyone has seen it and like
Hmm.
that's it? Because I was like, realistically,
Did it
this
go
can
way
this
above your
can stop.
expectations?
I think it went way above. I mean, my expectations were honestly like the same as my Cookie Run video,
Hmm.
maybe a little more because PVZ was, a little more known, I'd say.
Hmm.
At least at the time, Cookie Run was definitely picking up popularity. But like, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting anything far. I thought it was just gonna be another video on my channel that would push me to make another. And I mean, it was. I probably would have continued a little more afterwards because obviously I would have probably would have grown, but just a little more at a slower pace.
Hmm.
Um, but I was just like, damn, like I made something that like clicked with this many people. I think about this a lot, and it's something that I think he finds kind of funny. But NJ 660 NJ, I remember really early on seeing that someone asked for like his opinion on my video, and I remember at the time he was like, oh, it's probably gonna be like just another video or whatever, someone trying to capitalize on PVZ. And then like seeing like him comment on it later on, he was like, okay, wait, maybe this guy actually cares about the series.
Hmm.
And it was just like the slow progression of watching someone be like, oh boy, it's just another guy trying to make money off of PVZ 2, to like,
I
okay,
feel
this
like
person actually
that
cares.
early on, I feel like that wasn't that big of a thing. Like, me and you, we did our challenge, our first like Plants vs Zombies 2 challenges at a point where it wasn't like super common. Like, I think the point where everyone was doing Plants vs Zombies 2 challenges was after Shagrot made his one. Because then
That's
like
a fair point, actually.
absolutely everyone started doing like only this type of plant, only this type of plant, you know?
This is something I like to flex as a. It's like a half joke. It's a joke because obviously I'm not gonna think of myself that highly, but it's also like something I'm proud of from like a personal level.
Mm.
I like to flex sometimes that around the time that I released my full movie on that, Shagrad actually commented on my video and said like, this is the series that inspired me to make my PVZ challenge.
I haven't,
which
actually,
is crazy because
so yeah,
it was just like I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, like maybe I was one of the main pioneers in starting this whole thing. Which is funny because usually a lot of the credit goes to them, which is totally fine. Like I don't mind that. But it was just like in my head I could know like, damn, like if I didn't make my thing, maybe they wouldn't have made
it's
stuff
like a
too. And like
chain
now
of-
they're thriving. Yeah, it's like I'm so happy that like something I made not only has stuck with so many people, but like has seriously influenced the lives of other people in a really positive way. And it's like,
I didn't
wow.
want to interrupt you or anything, but when you're talking about NJ, was NJ also a big influence on your Plants vs Zombies content at first?
I believe I had seen some of his plant. I don't think he's very proud of them now. I should also say, like, real quick, when I'm bringing up the story of NJ, like, kind of turning over, like, giving my content a chance, I don't mean to say that as in, like, you know, like, oh, like, I can't believe this guy was such a stick in the mud or anything like that. It was just really cool to see, like, someone that was kind of skeptical kind of be like, okay. I don't know. It was just like, wow, like, I'm glad that something I made, I guess, the passion that went into that video kind of showed, you know, it proved something. But I think I had seen some of his like plan analysis videos. I remember specifically when in part 1 of that challenge, when I did that tech with cabbage pult, I remember I had seen, I think, his review on cabbage pult calling it like really bad or whatever because pea shooter is just objectively a better plant for the role it fills. I was like, damn, like I'm about to prove this guy wrong or whatever. And it was funny. I don't really
it's like about the whole like chain kind of thing. NJ was like, I meet right NJ a lot, and that's because like if you look at what made me big, Plants vs Zombies 2 with only 1 seed slot, and then you look at NJ's channel, it's like Plants vs Zombies 2 with 2 seed slots. You can see where I got my idea from, and it's like, if NJ hadn't made that video, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's like, if you hadn't made your video, Shagrot wouldn't be where he is today. And I was actually going to say something about that. The last 2 episodes I recorded were with Shagrod, but I haven't posted them yet. And it's funny that you said that about Shagrod commenting about how much of an influence your video was, because I asked him, I think I asked him, or it just came up in conversation, like, who influenced your videos the most, and he said, like, you, Alex, definitely. So
That's crazy.
yeah, that must be
Wow.
very. It's like, I think there's
I'm
different.
looking forward to that episode then.
Yeah, there's different layers to all the different. I think I like to say generation. I feel like there's different generations of Plants vs Zombies 2 YouTubers, and each
Yeah.
generation inspired the next. Like, the first generation with like NJ and stuff, which were probably more inspired by the Plants vs Zombies 1 challenges. Like, I think Shy Guy Mask and stuff did similar things with like seed slots and all that. And then the second generation is more like me and you. And then the third generation is like Shagrod and Brando and stuff. And yeah, it's very it's very
cool.
wholesome to see how all that kind of organically played out, I guess.
I think that's kind of why I feel sometimes kind of bad that I don't consider myself a PvZ tuber, because I do recognize that decisions I made in the realm of PvZ related content has influenced people to do something similar. But like, it is still cool. It's also cool at the same time to know that, like, even though PvZ isn't my main focus, like, something I made that isn't my main focus was still able to inspire people in a meaningful way, and like, I'm proud of that, I think. So yeah.
That's a very it's a very motivational part of content creation, and that kind of leads into what I was also going to ask you. What's your favorite part about content creation and being a content creator in general?
I think just the fact that it can be so personal, like when it comes to my content, with the exception of a couple thumbnails, some help with the art, it was done by a very good friend of mine, Pocket Painter.
Do they have like a link or anything that I could, like, you know, pop up here?
Yeah, if you want,
well,
I can.
Editing me, there it is. Everyone go check it out.
Yeah, they helped me with the coloring for my PvZ2 redesigning video. They also made the thumbnail of my Part 4 video, and they were also featured along with my other very cool friends in my Talking Friends video as Kat. But outside of friends helping me out every so often with videos like that, and I mean, I'm sure they're going to help more in the future because I had so much fun doing that video. Everything else I do completely by myself. I script my videos by myself. I edit them by myself. I record them by myself. It's all me doing it. So I guess the fact that I can, make something that's personal to me without having to like conform to like any rules or like anything else, that I think of it kind of like writing an essay. You know, like when you write an essay for like a professor or something, or a teacher, it's always under the guidelines of what they expect from you. Whereas if you're writing an essay by yourself, you have so much more freedom to make it more personal to you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I enjoy about it, is that everything I make it's like homemade. You know what I mean? It's something I made with my own knowledge, my own experiences.
Products that are very yours and no one else's. It's very personal.
Yeah, I think that's something I enjoy the most. And it's also something that I can kind of give myself the freedom to, like, what's the word? Like, I'll never be able to like pump out videos constantly because it's just me. I'm just one person. And even though I wish I could upload, I guess, more often than I am now, it's also kind of a thing that I think reminds people that I'm one person working on my stuff, and it's like coming out at a rate that is best for me. And even though some people have expressed that they wish that I'd upload more, for instance, or like, when am I going to make another video, I think a lot of people also recognize that, like, again, it's me that's doing everything. So I don't know, I think it just makes it more of like a personal experience. You know what I mean? It's kind of like getting homemade food versus going to like the store and buying as much food as you want. It just creates like a different experience. And I'm sure that's a very relatable experience to a lot of content creators, but it's something I very much enjoy about making content, is the personal feel of it.
Yeah. There are some risks or minor inconveniences with putting such personal content and your own products out there as well. And that is what I was going to ask you about in this question. How do you feel about your videos being re-uploaded on porn sites?
Oh my god, I can't believe
You know I had to squeeze this one in before the end.
Alright, I can't believe that's something that has happened. Oh my god, how do I put this? It's not any of the mainstream ones. My videos have been uploaded on stuff, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's funny because I wonder who is uploading them. Like, I have some videos that have been uploaded by other people on like the Internet Archive, which I don't mind because it's archived. And it's not like it's not like, you know, like 10 million people are gonna watch the video on there, not my channel. But like, I think I brought this up to you actually.
Yep.
A lot of the information in the re-upload of my video is like, it's like stolen. It's like copy and pasted.
Yeah.
But like things like timestamps, for example, or like links, they're still copy and pasted as is, as if the person that copy and pasted didn't understand that some of them were timestamps or links. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just
so it's like part of me wonders if like an AI did it or like
maybe.
I don't know. I'm sure. Obviously, I'm not the only person that has stuff re-uploaded through those sites. Hint, hint. But it's just I have no idea how to feel. I guess I can't really do anything about it. But even then, like, I can't imagine they're pulling crazy views. They might be.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah.
Because I have no reason to.
Well, exactly. But, I wouldn't want to check. Yeah. I think something Shagrot was talking about was I think he was looking for your profile picture or avatar or something, and the safe search blocked his search or something when he searched up the original Alex.
That's what it was. That's what I was suspecting it was.
Yeah.
And part of me actually wonders if that's what it is.
That's so strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, like, to this day I don't know who's doing that, but it's something that exists, I guess.
Yep. So this is the penultimate question. Appropriately left it to the end. Where do you see yourself and your channel in 10 years' time?
Ooh, myself, I'd imagine that hopefully I'm pushing in the game development field. Hopefully I would have created a game that is released publicly. That's my goal within the next 10 years.
Yep.
As for my channel, I imagine that if I were, once I get like really into game development seriously, like I'm pushing in that direction slowly, but like once I'm really like working every day, crunching on it, I would like to hope that I can find a good balance between making game developing and making content. But part of me wonders if at some point I'll have to say goodbye, or if maybe I'll just have to upload really slowly or take a break. I'm not really sure. I kind of hope that I can continue to make content just because I find it fun until, like, I guess I don't find it fun anymore.
Yeah.
As sad as that kind of sounds like right now. But no matter what happens, I just hope that my content will be looked at well, it'll be looked at fondly, and I hope that no matter where I go or what I do, people will still be around to, I guess, stick around, see what I create, and hopefully whatever I create will be worth everyone's while, assuming.
Well, I'm sure whatever it is, it'll still be good and authentic and still you, which is obviously something we emphasize on a lot. So feel free to plug anything right now before we finish.
Sure. I mean, it might be obvious by now, but I'm the original Alex. I have stuff on YouTube. I have an Instagram.
If you've made it through the whole podcast episode or 2 episodes without knowing who Alex is, like, you have my respect.
Hi, my name is the original Alex. I make content on YouTube. You might like it. I have a YouTube. I have a Ko-Fi if you're interested in that. I have a channel on Floral Federation. I think I said it on Instagram. You can email me, I guess, if you really want to do that. I'm on Reddit. Sometimes I post there. I'm everywhere, I guess. Yeah, I like to frequent the PvZ subreddit pretty often.
Oh yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Um,
Thank you for having me. It was a very good time.
yeah,